What's going on, Only Sports? Back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs and head coach Sheldon Keefe, as the Leafs have really turned it around as of late. And I just want to start off by saying I was wrong about Sheldon Keefe. I made a video of why they should bring in Barry Trotz as the new head coach and fire Keefe, and I was a bit hard on Keefe, although I like him. I like Sheldon Keefe. I have nothing against him. Like Mike Babcock, for example, or some of the old coaches for the Leafs. I like Keefe. I just think that I just thought that they needed to change things up. But Keefe's really got this team playing well right now. Right now, I think with where we're at right now, I think that the Leafs should keep Keefe at least for the rest of the season into the playoffs and kind of see where they go. Unless they hit another roadblock, like they did, at the start of the year. But they're 16-5-6 now on the season. They were not nearly close to this record, on pace for this record when I made the previous video, and at the start of the season, and one thing with the Leafs is that they oftentimes they don't start off the season super well, but in the last 10 games, the Leafs are 7-0-3. They have not lost in regulation for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. The last time the Leafs lost in regulation was November 11th against the Penguins at home, and then before that was October 29th. So the Leafs, they have a lot of overtime losses with 6, but they're picking up points in these games that they're losing. And Keefe's really got this team playing well. He really has them turned around. And I think a big part in that is the goaltending. There's no question about that. The Leafs have 2 really good goaltenders right now, and it's leaving a tough decision as to who should start and who should be the backup. But I think they're taking a pretty 50-50 approach, which I agree with. You take a look at Murray and Samsonov. They both started in 9 games each, and they have pretty identical records. Murray is 6-1-2. With a 2.34 goals against average. He had that big shutout last night. I'm making a video on Murray soon, but he also has a .932 save percentage. He's been great. And then Samsonov is 7-2 with a 2.09 goals against average and a .924 save percentage. So both goaltenders are playing really well, and that's leaving a good problem for the Leafs. And I think that this has a lot to do with the Leafs' success this season here. To this point here so far in the last little stretch they've been on. And like I said, it is a problem, but it's a very good problem to have when you don't know which goalie should start. You have 2 starting caliber goaltenders, and Murray obviously. Of course, he's locked up for longer than Samsonov, who's an RFA here this offseason. But I think it's entirely possible, and I think it's likely that the Leafs have this tandem for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think that these are 2 really good goalies, And I think you kind of ride the hot hand and take a 50-50 type of approach. And, going into the playoffs, you ride the hot hand. And if someone has a shaky game, you move to the next one. It's nothing against the other guy. But I think that's just the approach that the Leafs should take. But this video is not about the goaltenders. It's about Sheldon Keefe. And I'll get into the goalies in that Matt Murray video. But Sheldon Keefe's, he's done well with this team. He's got the Leafs playing some really good hockey, hard hockey. The Leafs are just 3 points out of first place in the Atlantic, which the Leafs right now are good for 3rd in the NHL. So, in terms of points, so that's very good. Not a lot of teams not many teams at all. There's only 2 or 3 really that are playing as well as the Leafs are. And as much as we hate losing in overtime, the 6 overtime losses is like having 3 more wins. So, it's a big deal for the Leafs to just get a point against some of these tough teams like Tampa Bay. I know we've lost in overtime as well to the Islanders and the Devils. Those are all good teams, but like I said, I really think that the Leafs are headed in the right direction here, and I think that they are really doing a lot to help out Sheldon Keefe. And I think the team kind of responded to keep his job. They responded to the media saying, Sheldon Keefe's his job's on the lines, And I think that they really responded, like I said, and you take a look at, who the Leafs are missing right now. It's pretty big. And if you would have told me this, when the Leafs were on that slide or even before the season, that the Leafs would, be going through a big key stretch without TJ Brodie, Jake Muzzin, Calle Yarncroke, Morgan Riley, Jordy Ben. Now they're without Victor Mete. Last night they had five defensemen and missing their top three, and they were, still able to come out of Dallas with a 4-0 win. And Dallas is a really high-powering offense. They score a ton of goals. They had Robertson on an 18-game point streak. He's arguably the MVP. So that speaks volumes to what Sheldon Keefe's done and really implemented with this team. So I think Keefe's done a really good job, like I said, and I think he saved his job at least until the off season. Where if the Leafs don't make it out of the first round again, he's probably gone. And if the Leafs don't, if they win a round and get swept in the second, or it depends how we go out, but if we just win a round, he still might not have a job. But overall, Sheldon Keefe's done a great job. I like some of the decisions he's made. I don't love that he plays. I actually hate that he plays Justin Hall as much as he does, but he really doesn't have much of a choice. He's the number 2 defenseman on this team right now, as bad as it is to say. Although I do think, Sandin and Liljegren are better than him. He's still considered the number 2 in terms of ice time and all that stuff. But Keefe's done a good job here with this team. He's really turned around. The Leafs are 16-5-6 on the season. They're going to continue to go up. They'll probably finish first or second in the Atlantic Division. And Keefe will definitely save his job until at least the offseason, depending on how the Leafs do. But I think this might be the year, and I think Murray can really help us get deep into the playoffs. But like I said, the Leafs have a good decision to make here at the goaltender, and I think that the approach they're going to take here for the rest of the season is the approach that they're going to have here for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like I said with Samsonov and Murray, it's you got a couple of guys who they get hurt once in a while, and you need insurance for the other one. So go with a 50-50 approach in the regular season, kind of ride the hot hand, and do the same thing in the playoffs. Whoever goes in the playoffs playing better, you put that guy out there, and if someone has a bad game, you put in the other one. But both guys are going to know exactly what is going on. Both guys are going to know, that if they don't play a game, it's not because they're, not good, or it's just giving them a rest day or something like that. But Keefe's done a great job, and that's all I got in this video. You guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on the Toronto Maple Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe. What do you think of the job he's done as of late? Let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys on the next video, and as always, go Leafs go.